Okay, I can see we're live already on YouTube. So got it. So welcome everyone, welcome again. While this is still loading on my end, I believe those on YouTube can see us now. If they can't, let me see if we could just be sure everything is in order before we start. Just a second. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so welcome again. Welcome to today's session. Today's session is a continuation of yesterday's session, actually a deep dive into the introduction proper of front-end development. Today we'll be having our mentor, same person, in the person of Temple, to come and will be joining us today on today's session. He will be taking us on the journey from HTML. So we'll get to learn about HTML, what HTML is about, and we'll move on from there. So without further ado, I just want to hand over the mic to Temple. Temple, are you there?
Yes, sure, I'm here.
Awesome. So please feel free to take the floor.
Hey. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Temple.
Okay, so yesterday I couldn't introduce myself due to the time. Okay, nice to meet you all today. I'm glad that all of us are here today again to interact with each other and learn. Okay, my name is Temple Ndukwu. I'm a front-end developer. I'm currently working remotely. So nice to meet you all. Today we'll be going deep in our front-end development. Yesterday we did some little introduction. And I believe today we'll do much better. And we are very sorry for yesterday. We had technical issues. And today, by the glory of God, everything is resolved. And we are here live today. So what we'll do, we'll just run through what we did yesterday based on the introduction. We'll just refresh on what we did yesterday, then we'll move into coding. But first of all, we'll be using Codes and Box. We'll be using Codes and Box for our editing. We'll be using Codes and Box as our editor, coding editor. I have sent the link on the chat, so you can quickly click the link, open it. If you are using your system, just click the link, and I will show you how you can run along with us so that we can practice while we are coding. All of us will be on the same page, so we'll make sure we carry everybody along. So that is it. Let me go to, this is what's okay. Let me start sharing.
I can hear you. I don't know.
Trying to share my screen.
I'm seeing the comments. Someone is saying that they can't hear you.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, but Sheung, I can hear him, so maybe it's from your end.
Please let me know if you can hear me.
You're good.
Okay. Are we all good now? Please let me know if you can see my screen and if you can hear me, so that we'll
okay. I can hear you. For those that can't hear Temple, please try joining through the YouTube. I think you'll be able to hear him clearly there. But for those that can hear him here, we're good. We can hear you and we can see your screen. We're seeing your screen now. So go ahead.
Okay. So this is what we had yesterday, and the tech stack we need as a software, as a front-end developer, is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, JIT. I'm just trying to refresh what we did yesterday. Then we need the IDE, that is integrated development environment. examples, VS Code, Sublime, and Code Sandbox. So for the purpose of this class, we'll be making use of Code Sandbox. And Code Sandbox is a cloud code editor. You can write the code on your web browser. You don't need to install the app itself, but here you can run your code on the web. So I think it will be much easier. Somehow I prefer to use VS Code, but for the purpose of this course, we'll be using Code Sandbox. I think before we install this, we'll install VS Code. It may take much of our time and all that. Maybe in our next time we meet, we'll install VS Code and start using VS Code. So what I want to iterate on this is, as a front-end developer, what are you expected to do as a front-end developer? When you start your job as a front-end developer, what are you expected to do? What are the things you're expected to do on your day-to-day activities? What are the things you're expected? So some of this will make you to understand what the front-end developer role is. Number one, we'll have, as a front-end developer, you work on the web page design and the structure. The web page design and the structure. So while you are coding, you are making the design of how the web page looks, how you present your code to the users, the end users. Number two, you come up with features to enhance the user's experience. While you are coding as a front-end developer, you should have the interest of the end users at heart. Whatever you are writing, any code you are writing, please bear in mind that people are going to use this web page. How are they going to interact with the web page? How will this web page solve the problem of your users? So whatever thing you are doing, you are not just going to write your code as if you are the one to use it. You are a programmer, you understand the way the web page runs. No, whenever you are coding, you have to write your code in such a way that it will suit the user's need. Are we together? So number three here, you ensure that your web pages are easy on the eye and can be used easily by end users. Like there are kind of colors you don't need to use on web page. When we are designing a web page, you use friendly colors. This is what this entails. You use friendly colors. You use colors that are cool. You don't use colors that are too harsh. Number four, make sure the web page design is smartphone capable. It's smartphone capable. This literally means that make your web page in such a way that it will fit into any device. Anywhere you click, anywhere you want to check your web page, it fits into any device, any size of the device. And in programming, we call it media query. That is a responsiveness. That is what CSS does for us. Another one is write reusable code. Write reusable code for future use. When you are writing your code, you write a reusable code that can be reused multiple times. You don't need to duplicate your code. You write code that will be used multiple times. You write it. When you see a code that will be reused many times in your files, you keep on repeating it. No, you write one particular code and you reuse it. These are the great things you do in front-end development role. What next? After you must have learned everything in front-end development, you start building projects. When you learn, you start building projects. You don't need to wait and start like, let me keep learning. No. Once you learn, you start building projects. As you're learning the HTML today, you are putting it in practice. This is the way to go. As you're learning CSS, you are putting it into practice. You don't just watch or what you read. What you read doesn't make, is what you type with your hand, what you have used your computer or your cell phone, because there are cases you can use some cell phone and write code. What you type is what matters. That's just a good thing about it. So let's go into our, we'll be using Code Sandbox. Let me, please, if you have clicked the link I sent on the chat, let me know.
I have also dropped the link here, so just you can look at the chat and click on it.
Okay, I have my own Code Sandbox running already, so you can just click it. Let me know if you are fine, if you are good, so I will be on the same page while
Sorry, Victoria have a hand
I have
raised.
mine running already. You just have to click the link.
Temple.
Okay.
Victoria has her hand raised up. Victoria.
Okay.
Victoria, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, don't worry. So I wanted to ask if we could do it on our phone. So I am already doing it already.
Awesome. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Temple.
I didn't get a question.
No, it's sorted out. She wanted to know if she could open the code and box on her phone, and she has done that, and so she doesn't need any help anymore. So you can continue.
Okay. So let's run along. Let's start. We are live now. We have started with HTML, and we are starting with the basics of HTML, what HTML is and what HTML can do. And HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It's what gives the structure of a web page. It's just like the skeleton of a web page. This is the foundation. That's where web page starts. So let me start from the very basic. Okay, this is doc type. Are we together?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so this is doc type, and what this means, this is the very beginning on your HTML. When you start your HTML code, this comes first in your HTML, and this is kind of is what defines, it's what declares the type of HTML we are using, and what this entails out. This is the doc type. It is type declaration of the HTML, and what this entails that we are using HTML5. This is HTML5. And this comes on the very first beginning of your HTML file. So now we'll go into the full HTML. Let me start coding. So this is now have our HTML tag. HTML tag. Sorry, I will explain what tags means and elements. I will explain. But for now, let's just take it. This is HTML tag, and this is what covers everything in your HTML. This HTML tag covers everything. It's just like it is the parent of every element. It is the parent of every child in your HTML file. Everything you have to run, everything you have to write, any code you have to write in your HTML, this HTML tag covers everything. It is the parent of everything. So inside the HTML tag, we'll have the body tag, we'll have the head tag. The head tag comes before the body tag. These are the two products of HTML. After the HTML tag, the two things you write again is the head tag and the body tag. I will explain. So this is the head tag. Let me put down the body tag. Please, if you have your question, you can throw it up.
Okay. I can see two hands raised up already. Muhammad and Deborah. So Muhammad, you can go first if you're there. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Hi, we can hear you.
Hello.
We can hear you. Go ahead. Okay, Mohammed, you can ask your question on the chat. We'll read it out. Deborah, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Mine is not bringing out what is showing on the screen. So when I open the link, it brought me to the new code sandbox experience. So I don't know how to go about it to get to where is.
Are you using your mobile or you're using a laptop?
Mobile.
Okay, obviously it's going to be a little bit different.
You can click on create new. There's a button create. You can
Hello,
click
sir.
create. Okay,
Wait,
Mohammed.
Yeah, go.
I can only see start coding for free.
Can you screenshot what you have and send on the chat?
Okay, yes.
Okay,
Hello.
Mohammed.
Mohammed, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, my right up here is showing fade. I'm not seeing it, so I'm not seeing it clear.
Are you using laptop? Are you using the system or cell phone?
No, I'm using mobile.
Okay, Temple, I don't know if you can maybe increase the font of your browser or something.
Okay, let me.
Can you do that?
And also, your voice is breaking.
That would probably be from your network, Mohammed. We can hear him just
Okay,
fine.
sir. Okay, sir.
Mohammed, can you see it clearly now? Temple, you're reducing it. Can you increase it? Yeah. Yes, I think this is fine. Can
Yeah,
everybody
I'm seeing
see
it
it clearly now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Awesome. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's run along. Okay, we are good now, right?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, so this is head tag. This is the head tag, and this is the body tag. The HTML tag, which is the parent tag, covers these two tags, the head tag and the body tag. So inside the head tag, we'll have the title. Inside the head tag is where we'll have the title, we'll have the link, we'll have the meta tags. But in this course, we are going to use the title. Let me put down the title, and I'll tell you what the title does. I'm going to type one so that so I have typed for title. You are not going to see it in the browser. This place is just like the browser. You are not going to see this. You are not going to see title. And let me put down on body. And I'll show you what the title. Let me. Okay. So I think the Zoom stuff is coming. Okay. Okay. So now I have typed a code in the body section, and you see that this is what we have here, and it has put it on the web. This is just like a web browser, but it's coming from Codes and Box. So from here, take this place as a web page. The whole of this place, please take it as a web page. This is coming from Codes and Box, and that is one good thing about Codes and Box. As you are coding, you are seeing the result of your code. So this is the code editor, and this is the web page where everything you code there, where you have to put whatever you are coding. So now, if you watch here, you see that we'll have this. This is what we have in our code. This is H3 tag, and look at it here. We have to put it. You just have to type it and save, and it will show here. Now, this is title. You can see that we are not seeing title anywhere in our web browser. This is Codes and Box web browser. It's not showing everything, but let me put it to the web. Open it. Let's open it in a window. Let's open it in a new window. If you click here, if you click this icon here, if you are on a system, if you click this icon here, it will take you to a web page. It will take you to a window. Sorry. You can see we have the same thing here on our a new tab. If you watch the tab head, the head on the tab, you will see the title displayed. Can you see the title on the tab of this?
So we can.
Okay, so that is the good. That is what title does.
Gochi has his hand or a hand raised up. Do you have a question for us? Please unmute yourself and ask your question. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing the name properly.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, can you hear me?
Very well.
I am Udechi.
Okay, Udechi.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, please.
Okay.
I think you're breaking. I don't know if it's from my end. Temple, can you hear her?
I wasn't there yesterday. Yes. So is there way you can help me?
If you missed yesterday.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. But from what I can gather, you're saying that you missed yesterday's session. And if you missed yesterday's session, you can on our YouTube channel, you can see our yesterday's session and catch up from there.
I think our line is breaking. We need to run along because of time. I think our line is breaking.
Can you hear me now, Temple?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I was trying to tell Udechi that I think her question was going towards that she missed yesterday's session. So I was trying to tell her that for those who missed yesterday's session and are trying to catch up, they can easily go and watch yesterday's session on our YouTube channel. There they can find yesterday's session and catch up on that. Today's is also being streamed on our YouTube channel as well. So there are some people on YouTube already. And I also want to use this medium to tell them that if they have any question, they can easily just type on the comments, those on YouTube, and I will read it out for you to hear and answer them.
Okay. I think we really need to run along because of time. We have a lot to do. So
just go ahead.
Let me explain what tags. Let me explain what tag is. Okay, I'll be mentioning tags and elements. When you come to a HTML document, what you are seeing, this is what we call a tag. We have opening tag and closing tag. Let me show you what I mean. I think I need to. Let me show you. This is what I have typed P inside the less than and the greater than symbol. This is P inside it, and this is called a P tag. It's called the P tag in HTML. This is opening tag. When we say opening tag, this is the opening tag. We have two types of tags in HTML, the opening tag and the closing tag, and this is the opening tag. Then I can write something here. I can write a statement inside the P paragraph. The way we use paragraph in our documentation is just the way it is a paragraph. Let me write something. Watch again. I'm going to close this is the opening tag, and this is the element of the tag. This is from here, hello world is the element. Let me close the tag. You have to close the tag with a /. So you can see that the difference between the opening tag and the closing tag is the /. So I will save it now and look at it here. If you watch well, you can see there's a difference. The font size of this and this are not the same, and this one seems to be bold, and this one, the other one is a bit less. So you can see that they are different. This is H3 tag and this is P tag. In HTML, we have numerous tags. We have p tag, we'll have span tag, we'll have table tag, we'll have body tag, we'll have the HTML tag itself. So now, because this is a div tag, this is the body tag, and they have their closing tag, they have the opening and closing tag. And also there are tags that doesn't have a closing tag. There are tags that doesn't have a closing tag. We call it self-closing tags. They doesn't have this kind of closing tag. For example, let me take image. Let me use image. This is an image tag. It doesn't go with opening and closing. It's a self-closing tag. I can bring in an image here. Let me say a source. Let's just copy something. Let's just copy an image. Let's just take an image. I just want us to be on the same page. Let's take an image. Copy the, sorry, I'm just trying to articulate the image. So I'm going to paste I've just copied the image URL. I'm just going to paste it here. This is the source. We'll call this attribute. The tax attribute. I will still go into this. Let me paste it. You can see now that this is the image I just copied from the web browser. I have it now in my code. I just have to take down the image address, put it here in the source. And also, this is an image tag. Let me show you some other things you need to know on the image tag. In image tag, we also need what we call auth. There's something we call auth. This image. Now that this image is showing, it is okay. The auth will not show. What the auth does is when this image is broken, when the URL is broken, or you have copied something wrong, or one reason or the other, the image couldn't show, then this auth will be displayed. Let me just break the URL so that we'll see what auth does. I'll just think image is still showing. Doesn't show. I just think I need to do stuff on the URL. Trying to break the URL.
Okay, Temple, someone is asking if you can just re-show how you brought in the image.
Okay. Okay, let me explain more on the image. On the image, we have two types. We have two types of bringing image in your code, and it will be displayed on your web browser. We have the relative part. I have the external part. That's the internal and the external. So what I just did is that I went to a URL. I went to this place. I went to this browser. I went to this web page, and have just searched for an image. I just picked any image. I didn't have anyone in mind. I just came here, typed image, open it. I just copied the image address. That's the URL. That's the link. I just copied it, and if I open this particular image, the same URL will be shown on the tab. This place, will call it the address. It will still be shown on the address. You just have to copy this address and make sure you didn't break anything in the address. Copy it and paste it in the source. Copy it, paste it in the source. This source means the source, as the name tells. This SRC means source. It means the address where the image is coming from. You can also use the one, the internal. That's where you have your image in your code here, in your file. That's in your system. then you just have to pick it with the directory address. But for the sake of this course, we don't have much time to go into that. So how I got this image is this. I went to the web page, typed image, copied the image address. Then this is the image address. I just paste it in my source. This is the source. I just paste it here. If I break this, if I break this code, if I break this URL, I'm trying to make it not. Let me take up this part. You can see now I've just done something to the URL. I've just broken the URL. It's no longer correct. You can see that the image will not be able to show again. But what we have is the auth. This is image, and this auth represents what the image is. When you are coding, make sure your auth represents exactly what your image is. In case your image, one reason or the other, your image didn't show, then your auth will be displayed to your user. When the user looks at it, they will know, yes, this is an image. And what I'm supposed to do here, let me say, I will say, this is ocean image. You just have to say this is ocean image. And when the user comes to this place, you see that this is ocean image. Oh, maybe one reason or the other, the image didn't show, and this is ocean image. Let me put down the correct URL again. Now, I've just replaced the correct URL again. The auth has just disappeared and we have our image again. So let's just run along. So this is what image does. IMG tag is a self-closing tag. It doesn't have closing, it doesn't have open and close, it's just a self-closing tag. You just have to close the main tag with a / together with it. Then you put down your image. There are other things you can add targets. There's what to call target. If you want to open it in a new tab, you can add your target. Then let's go to heading. Sorry, let's just go to heading. Let's go to what heading. There's what we call heading in HTML. Heading means the heading of your, look at this, this is H3, is an example of heading. It's used to give like a title. It's used mostly like to give the heading of what you want to display. So now let me show you all the examples of heading. We have H1. I just want to copy it to HT6. Graph 3, graph 4, 5, graph 6. Same thing here. And again, when you are opening your tag and closing your tag, make sure that the name tallies. Don't write this one H1 and write the other one H. It will give you an error. You see the difference when I put it. This is the very basic of HTML. In case you have knowledge of HTML already, still okay, we are still together, but we are trying to, as introduction, we are trying to start from the very basic beginning of HTML. So you can see the difference now. This is heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, 6. And you can see that heading 1 is bigger than heading 2, heading 2 is bigger than heading 3, heading 3 is bigger than heading 4, heading 4 is bigger than heading 5, and heading 5 is bigger than heading 6. This is the way you use it when you are writing your code. The way you want your heading, the heading of whatever you want to output to be. This is what you output then. Now we have seen what heading is. Let's look at what paragraph is. I think you have to be a bit fast. Lots of time. Let's look at what paragraph is. So paragraph. I know I just did something now. That's why I typed this stuff. This is not it's used like developers use it a lot to write long paragraph. Like when you want, just have to write lorem ipsum. It will help you to put down some words. So it doesn't really have any meaning, just to get some words. It doesn't really have any meaning. So now let's look at our paragraph. You can see the difference. Now this is our paragraph. I can now look at this and say, okay, this is so you can see now, if you look at this now, you know that this is the heading of what you have just written here. And this is what paragraph does. And there's another tag called span tag. I can use it and change any of these. And it is called an highlighter, but let's just do, okay, no, sorry. This is the heading. Let's just take this as a heading. And this is the paragraph. Now, there's also a CSS style. We can use CSS in our HTML. Let me use CSS. Let me bring in CSS. We use the style attribute. We use the style attribute to write CSS in our HTML. Let me just say, you can see now that I've just used CSS. This is CSS. I've just used CSS now to change the color of the heading. And I can also do the same thing with the tag. Let me copy this. And I can say something like, you get to learn more about colors. We have different types of colors in the programming. You can see now I've just changed the paragraph to yellow. So this is what CSS does. I can even use it and change the font size. Let me, if I'm just typing, but look at this one is just coming from the coded editor. I can just pick anyone I want to make use of. The font size, let's take it to 100 pixel, or let's take it to 50 pixel. Save. When you type, you make sure you save. You can see that I've just increased the font size with the CSS font size properties and the values. This is the property and this is the value. So now there's something I'm doing. I'm just adding something. If you notice, I'm just adding something in our tags. And these things are called attributes. These are called attributes. If you look at this, I just written style equals to this and this. I'm putting some properties inside this. This is called attribute. And this also, all these stuffs I'm putting inside the tag are called attributes. You use it to manipulate the tag, the HTML tag. That's the HTML element you want to display. Use it to manipulate them. You have different types of attributes. You have the source attribute, you have the style attribute, you have the class attribute, you have the ID attribute, and the rest of it. So now I've just included CSS in our code. If you watch it, I've just included CSS in our code. So now we have seen what heading is. We have seen what image is. We have seen the paragraph. Then let's let's see how we can. Sorry, let me first reduce this font size. Let me reduce it to 20. Yeah. Okay, now let's look at what table. We can also display table in our HTML. Let's look at how we can put down table in our HTML. So this table, you have to pay more attention because table is kind of it takes more tags. You have to pay attention on table, more attention on table. It takes more tags. So now, if you want to write a table in your HTML, code, you have to close it with a table tag. This is the opening tag and this is the closing tag. Now, inside the table tag, we'll have the table head, we'll have the table body. Let me just put down the table head and the table body. Move. So this is the table head. Sorry. See, table head or table body or table body. If you watch very well, you see that we have done something similar in our code before. When we started with our HTML, we opened it with the HTML tag and we'll have our head tag and the body tag. Now, something similar is happening again in the table tag. We just open the table tag, and inside the table tag, we have two tags. That is the table head and the table body. And what the table head does is it defines the heading. When you come to a table, there's a heading. It defines the heading of that table. And the body is where you now output the data that you want to present in your table. Now, let's go to our code and see what we can do. Let's start. Inside our table head, we'll have our th. Th is used to output the data that you want to display in your table head. Th is for table head. Td is for table body. Let's go to our code and see. This is it. We'll just copy it down. Let's put down three data. You can say name, your name, or we can say age, or we can say, let's say gender. It's okay. You see that we have something already. We have something in our web page already. The name, the age, and the gender. So now let's output the data that we want to show on our table. And let's define. We have to also put down the styling. We have to use CSS to style it so that it will show as a full table where you will see the table, the cells and the head and itself. Let's go to our table body. So this is TD. Please, if there's something you are missing, if there's something you are not understand, please call my attention so that I can explain more. I want everybody to be on the same page. Okay, let's go on. Let me just copy this down. Another thing, when you are writing your table, make sure that the number of TD you have in your body equals the number of TH you have in your table head. Okay, so now let me write, what is let me say Temple. And my age, I think my age is about 85 years, if I'm correct.
Someone is asking what's the meaning of TD. Is it safe to assume TD means table data and TH means table head?
Yes. TD is used to display the data. Let's take table data. So let's just see what we have done. We have just, and I can also, sorry, this has to go inside sorry, I've just missed something. This has to go inside a TR, that's the table row. It has to go inside a TR, sorry, I missed something. And when you're writing your code, there's something I'm doing in case you start using the question box. There's something I'm doing to organize my code. You just have to press Control Alt F. It will help you. Like if I just let me just cut out this the organization of this code. If I just press Shift Alt F, it will help me to arrange my code. Okay. And this also has to go into a TR. If there's anything you do not understand, please ask question. I'm there to answer. Table body can take as many as, let me quickly change this. This will be as a Ben, I think yeah, it is. Am I right? Yeah, a male. I have another person. Let's have a Maureen. Maureen, I think yeah, 8 years. And the gender is female. So if you actually we'll just have a typical example of a table, but something is missing. We'll have to use CSS to style it to make it look like a table with the borders and others. So now what I'm going to teach next now is the border. We are going to make use of border. And we are going to make use of border through our CSS to style this table so that it will look like a full table. Let's go. So when you come to your table head, the table, you have to give it a border. Let's first give it a border of, let's say, 1 pixel solid block. You see now, I've just included border in our table. I've just included border in our table. This is border. This is what we call border. But in CSS, we will get to border. We will explain that's what we call box model in CSS.
You're not wearing anything.
We will have, sorry?
Go ahead.
Okay. We have in CSS, our box model, we will have the content, the padding, the border, the margin. Yeah. So I've just included, let me explain what I've done here. I've just, with this attribute called style, when you are writing this, please don't add S. It's style, it's not S. Don't add S. If you add S, there will be an error. Let me add S and you see that this will no longer show. It will just, you see, there will be an error. It will no longer show. So you have to take it off. Make sure it's style, not stars. And again, we have used CSS here before. We have 3 types of using CSS. You can use CSS as inline CSS. You can use CSS as internal CSS. You can use your CSS as also external CSS. If you watch here, look at what I have here in my screen. This is called the external CSS, but we will get to that stage gradually. But what we are making use of now is called inline CSS. They all do the same thing, but it just the kind of code arrangement. You have to write a clean code. That's some of the reasons you have to have inline CSS, external CSS, and external CSS. And when you are writing a big project, you have to go with external CSS. There is some cases when you have, maybe when you want to write a small piece of CSS, that's when you have you use inline CSS. But don't forget, we have 3 types of CSS in the actually we have the inline CSS, we have the external CSS, and we have the internal CSS. So now this is inline CSS. Any CSS that you write in your HTML tag is called inline CSS. Let me quickly show you what internal CSS is, so that we will not forget. Internal CSS is written inside the head tag. It's written inside the head tag. You just have to bring in sorry. Sorry, let me this is the way to bring in your This is the way to bring, okay, sorry, I'm writing external CSS. Let's write the internal CSS. So inside this code, you can write your CSS here. You can write your CSS code. Let me just pick, let me give these, let me look for some, this is H3. Let me give this a class of styling. This is styling. Let me just give this a class of styling and copy the attribute. If you watch, I've just given this H3 an attribute of class. What does class do? We have these are the ways we call it selectors. We call it selectors in CSS. We use it to access the HTML tag you want to style. The particular HTML tag you want to style. You can use the ID or you can use the class. So let me just use the class here. We are just going into CSS gradually. Let me just let's say color. Something. I think I've used right. Let's use another color. So if you watch here, I've just given this is H3. I've just given it a class of styling. And I've just picked this class. I've just picked the name of the class and went to my CSS and did dot. If I did something dot styling, this is called CSS selector. The way you access the HTML tag you want to style. Now look at it here. We have the style. This is the name of the class, and you use dot. Look at the dot. If you miss the dot, your code will not run. Let me remove the dot, and you see and save. You see, it has gone off. It's no longer there. Let me undo it. Let me undo and save again. So you have to use the dot to access every class attribute. And again, there's another one called ID. Let me quickly add an ID to this P tag. This is an ID. Let me give a different name. This ID. You will see that we'll have a different form of accessing ID. We have accessed the class attribute with the dot. Then watch how we are going to access the ID in our CSS. Then this is you make sure you start a new line and we access the ID with the hash. Let me just copy this. I see the difference. I used dots here and I'm using hashtag here. Let me give it a color. Let's orange color. I hope you like orange. You see, we have just added orange color to our P tag. I see, we have just added orange color to our P tag. This is what CSS can do. You can see now that this, if you want to write a lot of CSS, you don't have to start. You don't have to write so much code in your HTML tag. You just have to bring it to another place. And this is just like we are writing the CSS in a different part where we don't have to make our code to look more scattered. We just want to focus on the HTML. And this is what we call internal CSS. You can see that I'm writing the whole of my CSS in the head tag. Every CSS I want to write, if I want to write a millions of code of CSS, I can write it here. It will all work. This is called internal. With time, we'll go to external. Look at external. External is by creating another file. So let's just go. Let's just continue with our. Table. Sorry, we missed our. Let's just continue with our table. So again, we have to give a table. Let's give our table a width, and I will show you what width. We have width. So let's just. Oh, sorry. Did you see something? I've just added a width to our table tag, and the size of the table, the size of the table has just increased. It has just I just gave it 100%, and it has taken the whole width of the web page. That is what I just did. Now I've added a width. And what does width do? I can also reduce the width of. I'm now talking about width in HTML. I can reduce this width to 50%, and you see that it will take 50% of it. 50% means half of it. I can give it 25%. It will take a quarter. I can give it. I can also give the width in pixel. There's what we call pixel, like the way you define your width. Your if you watch very well, I did something here. The way you define the size of your CSS. You can use the percentage, you can use the pixel, you can use the VH, that is the, we have the VH, we have the, there are a lot of them that you can make use of. But in the course of this program, we are making use of percentage and the pixel, that is the PX. So now, let's give this a 50% and see what will happen. You see, it has just taken a 50% of the web page. See this place as a web page. Everything here is just like a web page. This is a web page. The way this code is, I can save this file and host it on the internet. And when I give you the link, you just click it and you see what you have here. This is just a web page, and that's just the way web page is. But you have to add more functionalities to it and beautify your web page to make it look for the users. So now let's give this 100% again.
Sorry, Temple, before you continue, I can see Jeremiah's hand is raised up. Jeremiah, would you like to unmute your mic and ask your question?
Okay. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Jeremiah.
Yeah. My question is on this web page now. Can we edit this web address, or we're just working only on the web page?
If I understand you very well, do you mean this web page, this address here? Okay, yes. This is actually coming from code symbols. You cannot edit. This is coming from code symbols. If you edit this, this place will not run again. The reason is because this is a cloud-based code editor. There's what we call local host. Assuming we are using, if you are using VS Code, there's what we call local host. If you are coding your VS Code, there's what we call local host. This is just like, this is running on our local host. It's just running on my local machine. If assuming this is VS Code, assuming I'm writing my CSS, assuming I'm writing my HTML code here, and I want to output it, I'll use, there's something we call live server, or you can pick the file and say open with open with Chrome, or open with any browser engine that you are, any browser engine of your choice. You can just open the file. Let me just show you. Let me quickly show you what I mean. Let me quickly show you. I think your question is very nice. I think I have had. I'm trying to see if I can get. Okay. Okay, this is just a folder. This is just a folder I created on my desktop. So if you go to this folder, and this is when we'll start using VS Code. If assuming we are using VS Code, Ben?
Yeah.
Is it okay? I run on VS Code and show him what, because
yeah, of course, of course.
His question is very important. It's very important.
Yeah,
Let me just. I have to close down this project. This is also a Wikimedia project. Okay, Jeremiah. I'm inside the VS Code. Okay, this is just when you open your VS Code, this is what you see. Or in some cases, you see the get started tab. You just have to close it. But now let me just open a file from my system here. I will say open folder or open file. But all I've just created some folders. In programming, you call it directory. So let me just open a folder here. I'll go to my desktop. I've just selected my desktop. Lexus form. Some vanilla JavaScript. Let me just open any of this folder. I think your question is very important because it will still show some other things that we need to know. So I've just opened, this is get started, you just have to close it. Now, this folder, I created it already, and I have a HTML file inside it. I'll just click, let me open the HTML file. This is a project I wrote a long time ago. I've just opened it. You can see that almost everything we are doing in this, almost everything we are doing here is what we are doing in our code sandbox. This is VS Code, and is also a code editor. Personally, this is what I use most. This is what I use. And when you start working, I think you need to use some other code editor that you install. And what you are making, code sandbox is just a cloud-based code editor. So now, the reason we didn't use VS Code is because of the installation and all that, because the time we have, I don't think we may have the time to install it and start running. So that's the reason we use a code sandbox, because of time. I believe next time we'll meet or that we'll use VS Code. And when you want to install VS Code on your own, make sure you are installing the blue one, the one that has blue icon. There's one called S Code. That one is also VS Code, but don't install the one that has purple. Install the one that has blue icon. So the blue color on the icon. So now this is just my HTML. You can see that this is the doc type. This is the HTML language. You can also include it in our code sandbox, but it's not too necessary for now for the purpose of the presentation. Now this is just the heading. I've just opened the heading. This is my stars. This is a meta tag. And look at this is the title. And now this is the body. The same thing we are doing on our code sandbox. This is called comment. We'll get to meet comment on our code sandbox. Now, I have just created the file. I can also create a new file here. I can create a new file, but let me just show you. If you look very, this is just a HTML file. This is just a HTML code. Let me output it on the web. And how do I do it? How do I do this? I'll just right click, and I have option called Open with Live Server. And before you use this option in your VS Code, you have to install it. There is an extension in VS Code called Live Server. You have to install Live Server. When you install your VS Code, please quickly come to your search. Come to search. Look at search box. This search here. Search and type Live Server. No. Sorry. You have to come to your extension. Look at, sorry. Don't use this. Come to extension. Click on extension. If you click on the extension, it will give you this search bar. Type Live Server. Look at it here. You click it. You can see that I already have it installed already. It has about 26 million installs. You can see it has about 26 million installs. You may see other live server. This is live share. If I want to share my code with you, I'll just install it and use live share. These are extensions in VS Code. Make sure you install this. It will help you it will make your code to run faster and to make your code easy. I have installed it again. I've installed it already. So let me just go back to my code. Let me just go back to my code. So I'll just right click, and I have this option. I open with live server. I will just click it. Let's see, it will open this code in our web page. It's coming up. Do you see something? It just said server is started at port 5500. You can see this. Sorry, my internet is. Sorry, I'm back. Okay, now let's go to our web. You see, this is, I think this was my first code I wrote on HTML, something. I don't know. So I did this with the help of Bootstrap. The CSS I use there is a Bootstrap framework. So now look at, can you see this place? Can you see this? Jeremiah?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, this is called localhost. This is called localhost. What this means is that this is a port. It's just that this is, this is like a full web page. This is just like a full web page, but I didn't host it on a host engine. Examples of host engine, the Netlify, Heroku, Namecheap, and all the rest of them. Now, this file now, I've just output this. This is what I have in my code. This is the code that is running this is the code. And I've just output it here. I've just output this on my web page. Look at that. The question you asked, this is running on localhost. If you are using React or Vue or any other framework, you see that this thing will name it. It will be named localhost. And what that localhost means that the port is running on your local machine. Your local machine means your computer. This is just like a web address, but it can only be accessed in your local machine. That's your computer, the computer you are using. You cannot copy this address and send to someone else to access this web page. Access this. This is just like a web page. The only difference is that it is not hosted on any host engine. If I want to put it on a host engine where every other person can access it, I'll just pick up this file. This is the file. This is Mario Club. This is the file. Just pick it up, go to Heroku or Netlify or Namecheap and host it. Then I will be giving if I have a domain name already and the web address, I'll be giving a web address which I cannot share with friends and every other person. I'll just paste the link to you. You click it and you access what I have, the same thing I have here. And again, this is running on a local machine. It's just the same thing as a web address, but it's running on my local machine. It's only on local, it's only accessed on my local machine, this local machine here. And I can also copy out this web address and paste in another tab and click start and click enter, and it will still run. And let me quickly use this example and show you something. There's something we call media query. That's the responsiveness of a web page. Let me just use this opportunity to show you, so that you will also benefit in our tutorial. Let me, I just right click, inspect. I'll just inspect, right clicking. So this place is called, we'll call it the Chrome tool. That's the developers tool. When you start writing JavaScript, this is where you can output your code. This is what you can use to do when you write console.log. This is where you will show out your results. So now let me show you what media query means. I think this stuff is kind of covering the screen. Okay. I have to minimize my tab because of Zoom this stuff. So now let me just show you. If you want to check out what your media query, I have to minimize this. You click this. Look at this one. Don't click this. Click this one here. Now, I can check every site. I can check this web page. Let me take you something. There's something I mentioned. Media query. There's something I call media query. The things you do as a front-end developer, media query, or you call it the responsiveness of the web page. When you are coding, any code you are writing, wherever you are designing anything with your CSS, please bear in mind the responsiveness. And what does responsiveness mean? It means the ability of your web page to fit in, to look good on every mobile device. Is it a laptop? Is it a tab? Is it a phone? What's the phone size? The screen size of the phone? Can I access on your web page comfortably? Will you look good on every size of mobile devices? So now let's go again to our web page. if I want to, I can access this. If you click here, Chrome has this extension. I can click, check a Nokia 9, I can iPhone S, iPhone X Man, SR, this is iPhone 12. These are different sizes of devices. These are mobile devices, different sizes of mobile devices. A media query will have different sizes, and I will quickly show you. If I click here, you will see this is, just please watch here. Look at this place. While I'm navigating to different sizes, watch here. Here, this place will show you the size. Or this place is also. So here now, this is, I'm just pointing at, this is 2560. This is a desktop big screen. This is big screen, large screen. The way it, if I click here, this is the way my web is going to look on the biggest screen. This is the way it's going to look. Then if I click, this is 140 laptop size. This is laptop as big laptop size. If I click here, this is also, and I'll put it to 100%. This is also the way it's going to look. I'm just taking this time to explain what media query is, because it's very important. It's a key topic in CSS. We are just going into CSS for the fact that this is an introduction. I'm just trying to use this opportunity to touch different parts, because we don't really have much time to do much of CSS. And so now this is media query. When you hear media query or responsiveness of the web page, this is what it means. When you write your code, how does it fit in other sizes? Because your code you are writing it on a laptop, and the size you are saying is only your laptop size. Is either your laptop is 1400, or that's 1400, or is 1440, or any other size of your laptop. So now this is the size of my laptop, and it's showing like this on this web page. What if I host this and give another person the web address? How will it look on their own device? Is it going to look good? Is it going to look bad? So now I'll just click another side. This is 76, and I'll put it to 100%. I'm now at 768. 768 is tabs. There are other laptop that has that same size, but this guy is tabs and some other smaller laptop. And this is the way my web page is going to look. Can you see? I want you to understand that this web page is comfortable on all devices. Let me go to a smaller screen. I will go to 425. This is 425. I think from Android, some of the Android sizes are from 425. And look at it. It still looks good. I can see that it has changed. Some things has changed. That image is no longer here. That image has disappeared. It has gone off. It has disappeared. And that thing, we did it with the help of CSS. And how do they do it? We use media query. We can say on this, we'll say the screen size. If the screen size is less than this, please put the display to none. That's what we call display in CSS. We have display type, we have the display non-type, we have the block type, we have the inline, and others. So now that image has just disappeared. It's no longer here. And media query is responsible for all this. It's no longer here. And the reason we remove the image, because we know that it cannot fit in on a mobile size. On a mobile side, that image will not make our web page look good. We have just removed it. And let's go to the one that is smaller again. Let's go to 375. I think this is the size of most of our phones. 375, the size of most of our phones. Like my phone is 395, 392 is the size of my phone. But if I have to test it, I have to test from 375. This is just majorly the Android size is from 375. I will show you there are JavaScript code that you can use to check your phone screen sizes. And if you check your phone's description, you will also see the screen size there. And when you are writing code, you can still test it with JavaScript and you see the phone size. So now you can see that this web page also fits, it looks good on all the sizes. It also looks good on all the sizes. It doesn't matter the size I go to. If I give you the link, it still looks good. Look at it, it looks cool. And if I still go to a smaller size that is 320, that is the smallest. If I still go to 320, it's still looking very beautiful. Look at it. And then I have my, that's when I have my tabs. And look at it. But when you come to,
Sorry, Temple.
Okay.
I can see a hand raised up. Mohammed Mustafa.
Okay,
Mohammed
go on.
Mustafa, do you have a question? The floor is yours. Unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, I said that please, after the lesson, can we have the video because we are not seeing it clearly here.
Yes, the video is on the YouTube. You can always watch it on our YouTube channel.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Victor, I can see your hand raised up. Victor Mbachu, I think. The floor is yours. Feel free to unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much, moderator. I think for those of us that are a little bit advanced to go to higher level, and some of us speed.
I think, Victor, your line is breaking. I cannot really get your question. Please, can you repeat what you just said? Because your line is breaking and I can't truly hear you.
Victor, may I suggest you use the chat? Just type what you want to ask, and I'll read it out for the facilitator today to hear it. Carry on, Temple.
Okay. So now I've just shown you what media query is, and what media query is doing. If you watch, you have just settled media query. What media query is just doing is just to make sure that the web page looks good on every media sites. Wherever you want to make use of it, it looks good. That is what media query simply means. And for Mustafa, I think your question was what brought us to this place. This is just like a local web address. It's running only on my local machine. It just runs only on my local machine. If I copy this and give to you, you cannot access it. It's running on my local machine until it's hosted on a host engine. So I think that will answer your question, Mustafa. So let's go back to our code. So let's go back to our code. We have to maximize this again. So let's just finish up. We have time 7:20. I don't think let's just do padding because it's a very important topic to know. Let's just do something on padding. Ben, is that okay?
Yeah, I think we still have a little time, so carry on.
Let me just run the table on padding. Table may take much time, but I can just use the CSS and put. You use CSS and put the border under that. So let me just do something here. Okay. So after the table, I'm just going to write a div. Because of time, let's make sure we touch some of the important topics.
Okay, while you're doing this, I can see a message on the YouTube channel. Somebody is asking, how can we link CSS to HTML? I know you've touched on it before. I don't know if you want to just revisit that.
Okay. Let me go to okay. That is called external CSS. This is code sandbox. Assuming, let me go to VS Code. Assuming I'm using a VS Code, just have to create a new file. Let me create a file here. Please, let me create a file here, and let me say the name of the file is CS. Let me call it my style.css. I'll just enter. You see the way I created it on VS Code, but let's use, since we are making use of a code sandbox, let's make use of a code sandbox. So when you want to link, if you want to link external CSS, what you're asking is external CSS. I've just shown you this is internal. This we have here, this tag that is wrapped with style and style tag opening and closing is called internal CSS. And this that we are doing here, this is called inline CSS. So let me show you what external CSS. Your question is external CSS. So you come to your heading, it's linked inside a heading. You come to your heading and write a link. But first of all, you have to create a file. You have to create a file. Let me open this. You have to create a file. I've already created a file named styles.css. I've already created a file named styles.css. You just have to, when you create a file, how do you create a file? This is Coast Emboss, and this is the way to create a file in Coast Emboss. I just have to click this. Let me say another style. You make sure that every CSS file you are creating ends up with the CSS extension. Add CSS to it, and that defines your file as a CSS file. The name, the beginning of the name doesn't matter. Whatever you call it doesn't matter, but make sure it ends up with CSS. And the same thing with HTML. Every HTML document you are writing, every HTML file you are writing, make sure it ends up with HTML. That's the only way to indicate that this is HTML file. The same thing with JavaScript. This is a JavaScript file, and you make sure you end this with JS, and that defines as the JavaScript file. So now let me come to this. I'll go back to my HTML. Where's my? Just have to put a line there. Has attribute of source. So sorry, it has attribute of relationship. What's the relationship? We call it style sheet. And it has attribute of href. So this is called styles dot what? But it has picked it. I just did. You see now that this is, we use link from your question. We use link to access our external CSS file. I make sure that the file ends up with CSS, and you add it in your head, in your HTML head tag, using link. So look at it now. It has identified the two files that I have as the two CSS files that I have. It has identified. Let me pick this. Let me pick this one, styles.css, and let me comment. Let me comment this. Let me comment this. So I've just done something. What is comment? I've just done something here. What is comment? Comment. This is commenting in HTML. What is comment? Comment is used to ignore code that you don't want to. You don't want the code. Any code you don't want to output on the web page. Any code you don't want to run. If it's JavaScript, any code that you don't want to be executed, you use comment to comment it. And when you have commented any code, the code will no longer be recognized by the code editor. It's just like, should I say, it's just like empty something. It's no longer recognized. It will not run. It will not be outputted. It will not be output on your web page. So now I've just commented this. And what did I do? I just highlighted it and did Ctrl//. Just do Ctrl// to comment, or you can write it manually and write your less than symbol, exclamation mark, the dash, and do close it also. It has opening and closing. But the fastest way, highlight whatever you want to do, put Ctrl//, it will be commented. So let's write, let me pick, we'll have this style. You know what I'm doing again? I want to access, I'm using CSS selector to access this, to access the H3 tag. Okay, so let me go to this file, and I will just, this is it is class. We are making use of class, right? So just write dot. You paste the name of the class that you have just selected. Then you say, let's say color. Which color do you want to put it? Let's put red. Did you see what just happened? The color has changed also. And I can use this also and put, I can also select, I can use this. Let me do. I can put a background color to the whole of this web page. I'll just call the body tag. Remember, the body tag is also a tag. The body tag is part of the web page. That is everything you see on the web page is inside the body tag. So I can use the body tag and design anything I want on the body. I can just make changes using CSS. Let me just design the body tag a little. Let's give it a background color. Let's give it a background color. Let's say, which color do you prefer? Which color I'm going to choose? Let me pick something cool, something sky blue, so something, no, okay. You see that I've just changed the whole color of the web page. I've just changed the color of the whole page. You see? I can also change the font size of everything we have. I can use the body tag and change everything. And again, there's another thing we call so this is our external CSS. We have just accessed, we have just created a file. It's an external CSS file, and we have just accessed it using the link. We have used the link to access the external CSS. Anything you want to, any CSS you want to write here, you can write it here. Very well. So let me show you. Let me quickly explain what I've just done here. This is the selector in CSS. This is called the CSS selector. This here is called the selector itself. This is the property, and this is the value. This is the value, and this is the property. So now when you want to style anything you want to style on the HTML, I can also pick this. This is the ID. I can also pick this, come to the CSS, use hashtag. Remember, when you want to access attribute of ID, you use hashtag. When you want to access attribute of class, you use the dot. So let me just paste this and do this. Now I want to change the color of this text. That is the paragraph, the p tag that has the ID attribute of this ID. Let's change the color of it and see. Let's just show. Let's just do this. Let's pick color. Happening. Let's see. You can see that we have changed the color of it. We just accessed that HTML tag with the color with the CSS. So it's very beautiful to understand external CSS. It will give you more room to write as much as possible. Anything you want to write on your CSS to help you to write whatever you want to write on your CSS. So are we really diving into CSS? Let's just quickly, I hope this will answer your question. So let's just go back to what we're actually doing with the div. So I was actually working on this div. Let's go back, and we have given our web page a background color. So let's just go back to this div. I want to explain what box model is. It's very important. It's as important as everything you are writing on web page, because when you need CSS, to style your web page and make it look good. So now, let's just I want to style this. Let's give it a class of a model. Let's give it a class of box model. Remember, this is introduction. We are trying to carry everybody along from the very beginning. So we have accessed this div. Div also contains text. We can use div to also write some text. We have used this div to wrap up our elements. So let's go to our external CSS. I think now we'll use external CSS, and external CSS is very beautiful. Let's make use of external CSS. So we'll just do these dots. This is This is the selector. That is the name of the class attribute that we are using to access. The name we are using to access the tag that we want to make use of. Then let's do this. Let's do this. We are trying to define the. Let's add a border to it. We are trying to define the box model. Let's add a border to it. A border. Let's say 5 pixels solid red. 5 pixels solid red. Did you see something? I've just given it a border. This is what we mean by border. We have just given. Let me give it a pattern also, and I'll explain what box. I'm gradually explaining what box model is. Border. Let's give it 30 pixel. There are a lot of things you need to learn about border. Border is very, very good. You need to learn a lot of things about border. The box model is very important. It's very, very important. So now, I have just given this. Let me also give it a background color. Let me give it a background color. Background color of green. Our time is almost less. So we are running fast now. Our time is almost up. We are kind of running fast. So now let me explain what box model is. Box model comprises of the content, the padding, the border, and the margin. This box text, this text you are seeing here is what is known as the content of the box model. And this background here now is the background of it. This is where our padding comes in. This color green is where our background is. If you see that, if I increase this padding to 60 pixels, you see that it will increase. Just watch, it will increase. It has increased, and this padding has the padding top, left and right, and the bottom. This comprises. You can also choose the padding top. You can say the padding top. You see that we have the padding left, we have the padding top, we have the padding right, and the line, and all the rest of it. So now what I've just done here is the box model, and let me show you what margin does. Margin is outside. Let's just give this margin of 40 pixels. You see, margin is outside. Margin is not a margin. This is border, and this differentiates the box. It differentiates the padding and the margin. Border is what differentiates the padding and the margin. You see that margin is outside here. Is outside our content. I hope you understand what a box model is. A very important topic you need to know. Is very, very important. Then when you want to write, I think we are rounding up now so that we can entertain questions. So let's see. Let's go back. Okay.
Victor, I think we have less than 5 minutes to round up.
Okay, let me quickly show us how we can also access JavaScript in our HTML. You just use the script tag. There's a tag called script tag. This has a closing tag, unlike the link we used at the top. So just write the script. So this is script. So you just write, you have to put source. This one goes with source. Just write the name of the file you want to access. Script is just very close to the closing tag of our body, our body tag. So we just write script source, and you put down the name of the JavaScript file. This is the name. This is the JavaScript file. I can write every of my JavaScript. Let me just show you what function is in JavaScript. This. Let me just call it my function. We have less than 3 minutes to go. Function. Just put this. Write this. You can start writing your function here. Whatever you want to access. But there's something again called the DOM. That is the DOM. The way you access DOM means a document object model. The way you access your HTML, you can use the document.get elements by ID. That's if it is defined. If what you want to access is defined by ID, I can also access those. This is ID. That the tag that has an ID, that tag that has an ID, as this is ID. I can also access it in my JavaScript. This is JavaScript now. I can access it here, and I will use the DOM to manipulate. I can use the JavaScript to manipulate the DOM of the HTML. So let's just say the color. You can change the color of the text from your JavaScript here. So I have less than 2 minutes. So let's take in questions. I think this is JavaScript, and I hope we have enjoyed this class. Let me quickly.
Okay, I can see Ida Jeremiah already has his hand raised up. Ida Jeremiah, do you want to say something?
Yes, sir. I've seen that, yes, we are designing our web page. What if we are finished designing the web page and want everyone to access it on the internet? How do you go about it?
Okay, so if I can just come in here, if you want to know how you're going to go about it, that's basically on how to host your website. So like what Victor was trying to, sorry, I keep calling you Victor, Temple was trying to explain initially, is when you're building the web, right? You're building this on your local server, on your local host, basically. So your local machine is your computer where you're working. Hosting simply means you're putting it in a system that is online. It could be cloud hosting or the different hosting platforms, but you're putting it online so that every other person can have access to it, right? So that's just the major difference between. So, but the same way you have it on your system is the same way it will be if you host it somewhere else. It won't change because you are hosting it somewhere else. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So, but for you to get that knowledge, I think I don't think there is enough time to show you how to go about hosting on the various hosting platform. So you can always, like we said before, Temple is here as our mentor. He will be offering mentorship. So it's something that you could reach out to him if it's something that piques your interest. If what you've seen so far is something you like, you can always reach out to him for that training, basically. I can see a couple of hands raised up. Mohammed and Agnes. Mohammed, let's hear your question first. Then Agnes, you will hear yours next. So
it's the same question that I wanted to ask.
Okay, about hosting. Okay.
Do you still have any confusion, or does that answer your question? If you still have confusion, we can throw more light on it.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Agnes, the mic is yours, please.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Temple and Benedict.
Good evening.
So I don't know if we can have like 2 mentors, because I think this is really interesting, and I'm really interested in Temple's mentorship also.
Okay, awesome. As regards having 2 mentors on this, let's see how it goes. Like I said, we will be having more mentors come on board. Not just we'll have other people who will come with still maybe front end and other parts of the tech design in general. So let me see if I can. So I want to just I don't know if anybody has any other question as to directly question for Temple before we'll let him go and continue with the topic for today, with our plans for today. Any other person? Goodness, I can see your hand raised up.
All right, thank you, Benedict, and thank you, Temple, for this wonderful session. Okay, my question is in regards to the table you inserted. I noticed that the heading don't really align with the column. How do we do that? And also, if we want to design the table, like add columns and other things, how do we do that too? And also, I have another question about links. I don't know if we can take it today. If we can't take it, no problem. Maybe I'll chat to you about that. Like, how do we add links to the web page? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, Temple, yeah, you can
Okay,
respond to
there's
it.
something we'll call, let me put it down on the chat. It's called anchor tag, a tag. Like I said, it was a introduction. I'm sorry I couldn't touch every part of the HTML tags. It's called anchor tag. It's called an anchor tag. It starts with A. It's A, and it has a hash. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can share my screen again. Time is running. We still have time.
I think Temple, I think what we can do is to maybe it's something that if they are interested.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Temple?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Sure, I can just put it down on the chat. But if you want to put a link in HTML, use the a tag, or you call it anchor tag, and any link you want to put in, you add it inside the href. It has a href attribute, and anchor tag also has the target. There's what to call target, where you click the anchor tag and it will take you to a new tab. It has the properties of a attribute of href, where you put in the link where you want to go to, or you want a new file you want to go to, and you can also add your target. Again, for the one of table, you use CSS. What you could possibly do, we use CSS. As you can see at the top of the table, I've added border collapse on the table tag itself. Then inside the TD and the TH, you just have to add padding. You just add the add padding. You add padding to the TD and the padding about 15 pixels. It will help to align the content of the table at the center. Either you want to do it align, and I also have a align CSS. You can use align CSS to align those heading or the TD. But for the border inside the table, use border. Just add border to it. Add border to the TD and the TH. Then the heading, you can also add the background color to it. I hope that will answer your question. We use the border, the CSS border, to add the borders to the table and make it look good. You can do a lot of things with table. You can increase the number of the columns you want, the span, we have span, the call spag, and the rest of it, the grouping and all that. Yes, you can do a lot of things with table. Table is a very serious, is a very important topic in HTML. It's very, 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 very important topic.
Yes, so thank you. On that note, I think we'll let Temple go for now. So yes, speaking of other, moving on from here, you might be wondering what next do you have to do to, what do you have to do to get to Temple? Yesterday I showed us how to do that, and how to do that is basically you just need to go to our page, and on our page, on our Wiki Mentor Africa page, you can reach out to Mentor from there, to Temple from there. I showed us how to do that yesterday. If you missed that, please visit our YouTube channel to watch that and see how to go about that. Another way you can reach to Temple is also through the through our Telegram page, through our Telegram platform. You can also reach out to Temple there and request for mentorship. Please do note that Temple only have a limited number of persons he can take. So it's not a must that if you request for his mentorship, he's immediately going to adopt you. He might decide to adopt to the first 5 persons, and then later on, when he's available again, he can come back and readopt more people after that particular training. Once again, I want to say thank you to Temple for coming on board. Thank you for offering your time and sharing knowledge with us. I think everyone here, I really enjoyed today's session, just like I did, and we learned something new. For those who pick interest, once again, you can always go and just request for mentorship. And yes, for those on YouTube and those that are not on YouTube yet, please go to our YouTube channel and click on subscribe to our channel, turn on the notification. One other advantage you will be getting from Temple's mentorship is that when you when he has this video mentors, what's it called? These when he adopts his people and he starts the mentorship itself, Temple might have some recorded videos that he might want to share, or he might make videos that he wants to share. And one platform in which you can share this video will be through our platform, our YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed, or if you're not if you don't turn the notification bell on, you might miss out on that. So yeah, so please go subscribe, and let's see if we can even get it to 120 subscribers at least before the end of before our next session, right? So let's have that challenge on. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you very much, everyone, on YouTube. Bye.